And at the end of the day, what are we doing to assist in entrepreneurship, building entrepreneurship, and employability? This is what the company is doing. So I'm going to tell you, so we have a number of different programs, and the reason why I'm telling you all of this, because at the end of this, I was going to wait till the end to ask you this question. I want to ask you, what are you doing for the youth? If you're going to take something out of this conference, take at least one thing and say, I am going to do something specific that is going to help people start seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. Or else, we're going to face more and more issues and economical issues, and we're not going to come out of it. It's interesting we're in Aqaba, because this goes back to the old adage of give a man a fish and you eat for a day. Teach them how to fish and they'll eat for life. So what has Microsoft been doing? We have provided these different programs. We have something called DreamSpark, BizSpark, Student to Business, and Imagine Aqaba. Oh, really? No. Yeah.
I think you should have hosted it on Google.
We have the representative.
The Microsoft guys.
That shows a good sign of cooperation.
Yes. Any more questions for me?
I think I should take the microphone from Sabek. He will never stop. The interesting thing that we are talking about the age of technology while we have the problems of technology. So that might give you a good idea about how things were run when we relied completely on technology.
It may affect the people just a little bit.
I'm sorry for this is what we call Murphy's Law. For those who know what is Murphy's Law, you know, it's everything works right until you need it. So I suggest we continue because we don't have the luxury of time while our friends are waiting for something.
You were doing good without the slides, by the way.
Yes, absolutely.
I think it would be okay if we go just without the slides. People were very well listening to you more than looking at the slides, especially with your good and interesting looks at the future.
All right. Anyway, so I was getting to what are the programs that the company offers in order to actually support the youth. I've mentioned 4 things. We have DreamSpark, BizSpark, Student to Business, and Imagine Aqaba. DreamSpark is a set of, we provide all of the tools necessary for students. It's available for them, plus all of the contents to learn how to develop and use technology and really build programs. For BizSpark is when students actually graduate. For the entrepreneurs that are out there, it is also providing them with the latest set of technologies, all of the training and even support, so that they're able to start off their businesses on the right foot. We have a student to business program, and that is where Microsoft through its network of partners and customers, we start showing off some of the student partners and the students that have worked with us and have used all of the different programs. So enabling job opportunities. And then I mentioned something called Imagine Aqaba. Now this is really great. I mean, a number of companies, a number of the multinational companies do something that's similar, and it's something to be really proud of. The Imagine Cup is a programming competition that is run around the world, and then it leads all the way to to finals that happens in a different country on different years. Now, what's the nice thing about this is that there are specific areas that allow you to compete within that. So for the Imagine Cup, the theme has been the UN Millennium Goals, and how can technology actually help in solving some of the issues, whether it's poverty eradication, inclusion, all of these items, very important items for us and for the future. In addition to that, there are some grants that are provided for some of the winners to help them continue down the path of their programs that they've created and their innovation. Now, you know what's important? It's not the grants. It is not really about the money that people get. It's about the people who have engaged in this competition. Because in order to actually engage in this competition, it cannot be just a computer science person on their own. They have to go potentially to the liberal arts, maybe historians, other people who actually have knowledge about the UN Millennium Goals and the issues that people face. And where does that come in? Why is that important? Because you know what? The skills that are going to be required in the future, or the skills that are required right now, are what they're calling these 21st century skills. And what are these things? Well, these are things such as complex communication and expert thinking. The other type of skills that were required before are not required as much anymore, and these are the things that have been relegated to automation, meaning that really in the future, these complex thinking and everything else that made you successful are going to be the reason for the survival. I think I got something here. It's on the screen. I shouldn't mess it up. So this was a study that was conducted over a period of 30 plus years that showed what are the skills that people and the employers are looking for. So you can see there's a huge growth in complex communication skills. These are things that are represented in the whole notion of 21st century skills. How do you collaborate? How do you work together? How do you do research? So all of these things are parts of these 21st century skills. Part of the work that we do within education focuses on how do you focus on students becoming better learners, to be able to learn, to unlearn, and to learn again. And for teachers to be coaches and not to be the people who are just standing up on a stage and just lecture. So one of the nice things that have happened here for us here in Jordan last year, there was this Team Oasis. And they actually participated, and they went through all of the different rounds. Eventually, they got third place on one of their projects. So I wanted to share with you.
Have you ever known that there are 4.7 million people around the world who suffer from quadriplegia? Have you ever known that this number increases every year by 32 per million? Using the simple IR LED and a remote controller to create our project Horizon. Project Horizon helps quadriplegics control the PC with simple head movements.
هذا الجهاز يسهل حياتهم الكريم، عندهم القدرة على انه يدخلوا الى جهاز الكمبيوتر ويستخدموا الكمبيوتر زي انسان معارض.
So the Horizon, it's a lot more natural moving than the other products I've seen, and it seems really user friendly, and it's cheap, which is nice because everyone can afford it.
I tested it and I slipped right through all the applications. You could probably start the web with that application as quick as you could with your hands.
I think this is one of the greatest things that you can do for a quadriplegic, because you can give them a lot of freedom to explore the computer and get on the internet.
أنا حاليا بقدر يكون عندي خصوصية بالاستماع أو أشياء كثيرة. اللي هو مش عارفة أحكي، خلص أقول لعبي مبسوطة وانتهى. أنا عايزة من التعبير صراحة والله العظيم، أنا عايزة كثير عن التعبير. كم بصوت الموبايل تبعد عنها. لابتوب قريب، تستخدم اللابتوب. الفكرة يعني حلوة نايس، ما هي
So these are some of the things, the areas where we get involved. Some of the multinational companies also get involved. And really, you see how we focus the team. This is a team of students that went up. These are college students in their third and fourth year, and they actually went up there and they ended up winning. They came up with a product out of that. Now imagine what all of the people that had to participate within there. That's it. That's how people start seeing. They see the light at the end of the tunnel. They know that they can make an effect. And these are the opportunities. This is where it is. The youth are the ones that provide this opportunity for us. They are going to provide those innovations. So I come back and I ask you, you're the ones in the industry. What are your tools? Do you have internship programs? Anybody who has in their company has really fully fledged internship programs. That's the way we do it. That's the way the US has been doing it. And I've been fortunate enough to go through these kind of programs. This is how we get people ready, and this is how we engage with the youth. For the interest of time, I was going to go through about some of the methodology and talk through that. But I just want to let you know that in your respective countries, wherever Microsoft is, we partner with our customers and our partners, and we encourage to have that dialogue. So we engage with governments, partners, and our customers in order to come up with and formulate what some of the issues are, and put forward some of the programs that can solve them. We've put in innovation centers, a number of places that give people access to these latest technologies. And these are some of the success factors that we look at to ensure that some of the programs are happening. I just want to close in one thing. It reminds me of an old email that happened. So CFO asks the CEO, goes, what happens if we invest in developing our people and then we leave the company or the country, if you want to take that? CFO answered quickly, what if we don't and they stay? So imagine the opportunity, be part of realizing it. The other thing, if you're not part of the solution, you're most probably part of the problem. Thank you.
Thank you, Zaid. Thank you. Well, you will have also a presentation, so I hope you will not be stuck again with technology.
No, I won't.
We will see now what
I'm using Apple, so.
Working better. Now I heard lately that Google just probably created or implemented a new search engine that would be thinking like a human, yes?
I don't know about that.
I read it in the somewhere. Let me introduce Wael while we are preparing for his presentation. Wael Fahrani is working for Google. He is the regional director for Google Egypt and North Africa. He will be talking about the economic opportunity of the internet in the Arab world. Wael has a BSc in communications engineering. He worked for IBM as a sales manager. He worked for Oracle Middle East as a sales manager, and for 3Com as a managing director for Middle East and North Africa. Wael is married, and I think he's newly married because we still don't have any children yet.
No, I'm actually 22 years married, so I have 2 children.
Well, 2 children.
2 children.
Yes.
2 children.
Well, for the sake of time, and again for those, by the way, for those who will not leave for prayer, they can stay. We have 60 minutes. We can have a lot of questions. We are the lucky ones because of this session that will end up for the prayers time. And I think somebody keeps showing me that he wants to get more questions. Okay.
Good afternoon, everybody. I know that we're running a little bit late, so and probably my presentation will not work, but let me just try. There it is. Maybe it's not. Okay. Now I've been working for 22 years, and I have 2 kids, an 18-year-old boy and a 12-year-old girl, and I tried actually very much to engage my kids in my work. And then 4 years ago, I became the coolest dad in the world because I joined Google. Because they know that Google is really interesting. They probably know more about Google than me. And I think I really want you to just take a bit of a moment and understand that these kids basically were born in a completely different age. They know about this world more than me. And my father said, why are you leaving a good paying job to join a company that is empty? You go to google.com and there's nothing. It's just empty, right? And my little daughter said, Grandpa, they make money when people click on their ads. And they make billions of dollars. And actually, I really didn't believe this when I first joined. I really didn't believe this. Just to give you an idea that the average age, when I started Google 4.5 years ago, I was one man in a very small, furnished office in Egypt. We're about 35 people now, and the average age of the Google employee in Egypt, except me and Ahmad Hafiz actually, is actually 21. The average age is 21. I have 4 19-year-old students who are students. They play the piano, they sing opera, they're full-time employees and full-time students. So when I was growing up, my father would actually tell me, stop watching TV and study. And I think we heard during the sessions about the idea that we want our kids to stop being on the internet and study. In fact, when they're on the internet, they're actually studying. Just want to play one video to explain to you this idea of really, it's a different perspective. You can think of some people as crazy, and you can think of some people as genius. So I'll actually borrow from an ad from one of our competitors, Apple, but it's just one of my favorite all-time ads.
Here's for the crazy ones, the misfits, the rebels, the troubleshooters, the round pegs in the square holes, the ones who see things differently. They're not fun, and they have or vilify them. Now, the only thing you can't do is ignore them, because they change things. They push progress forward. And while some may see them as the crazy ones, we see genius. Because the people who are crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones who do.
24th of January 2011, I was actually in Egypt. Coincidentally, I was meeting the Prime Minister of Egypt and many of the ministers who are now in jail. And I flew on the 25th of January to Dubai. And I wanted to meet a colleague of mine who I hired as marketing manager, called Al-Onaim. And I sent him an email and I said, I'm in Dubai, let's meet for business. And then he sent me a very, very interesting email. I still have it. It's a historical email. On the 26th of January, 6 hours before he was kidnapped, he told me, what business are you talking about? Can't you see what's happening in the country? Come and join me and I'll make history tomorrow. I swear to you, this is the email. Come and join me and I'll make history tomorrow. And then I thought, this guy is crazy. What history is he going to... And I was with him almost 24 hours. What history is he talking about? This guy is going to be detained, beaten, and then come back to Google. This is what a 45-year-old thinks, and this is what a 27-year-old thinks. That's a completely different dimension. So let me talk about the internet very, very quickly. So, sure. Well, there's no voice anymore. There's no voice anymore. We keep on throwing numbers in billions and trillions and so on, but this is just an idea of how the internet is or was in 2011. Almost 2.3 billion people. There's 5.2 billion people connected to the internet, or actually connected to a mobile. Not all of it is connected to the internet. And there's a huge amount of data on the internet. This exabyte is a huge number. Just to give you an idea, all the information in the world, from Adam and Eve to 2003, can be stored in 5 exabytes. All the information in the world, 5 exabytes. Now the internet in 2011 had 800 exabytes. 800 exabytes. It's a huge number. I really can't remember what it is. And when you think that this is just the beginning of what's going to happen in the next 10 years, I get really scared. I get really, really scared. I'm living in this world, I'm working in this world, and it's really scary to have 5 billion people in 10 years connected to the internet, 10 billion mobiles connected to the internet, and a huge number of data on the internet. I think I heard things like everybody will be a blogger, a reporter, a director, a film producer. Everybody will have an opinion. A friend of my daughter actually went to a restaurant, I don't want to talk about names, in Egypt, and the waiter treated her badly. So she decided to close down the restaurant. This is the power that the young people have. And guess what? She had 1,700 friends on Facebook. And she started telling people, don't go to this restaurant because the waiter treated me badly because I'm young. And then the 1,700 started sharing it with other people, and with other people, and with other people, until the owner of the restaurant called her father and said, this girl will have free meals in my restaurant until I die. This is exactly the power of it, and nobody ever imagined that you can do this. Our generation was, you know what, let's not go there, or maybe punch the waiter in the head. But that's actually what the young people do. They think of alternative way to do things using the media that they have. I heard a couple of stories about the Rotary, the branding, and can I be honest with you, you don't connect to the young people. I do not see young people want to join the Rotary. you might have great causes, and they might have great energy, but I think there's a disconnect. And this disconnect needs new tools, new measurement, new ways of doing things, and a new facelift, a new branding. That's my humble opinion, staying in the room for half of the day. I don't want to be critical, but I think it's all about how we perceive the image of the Rotary. And I heard also the ex-president of the Rotary talking about, a decline in membership and so on. I think you guys need to work on that and use some new tools. Again, huge numbers. Just to give you an idea, every single minute, there's 60 hours of video uploaded on YouTube. 60 hours of video on YouTube. The average age of the YouTube user, we think that YouTube is for kids, is for people doing birthday parties and doing stupid things. The average age of the YouTube user in the Arab world is 35. The average income of the YouTube user in the Arab world is actually 4,000 Egyptian pounds in Egypt. 67% of the YouTube users have university degrees. So if I was the Rotary, or Hayat Tanshit Siyaha, or a diving center in Sharm el-Sheikh, or if I have any product or service, I have to actually use the incredible masses of the people using the internet in the Arab world to actually brand myself. And I'll give you one more example of the Arab world. 88 million people. So in Egypt, we see 30 million people per day. When I joined Google in 2007, there were only 7. Now, the Arab world has 88 million internet users, growing at 40%. We receive 120 million questions a day. Not all of them are Haifa Wahbi and Nancy Akram. Not all of them are entertainment and pornography. And actually, a lot of the questions are very, very relevant. And YouTube, we receive 120 million playbacks per day, 120 million views per day. Just to give you an idea, before the revolution, on the 24th of January in Egypt, we had 2 million playbacks per day. Now we have 36 million playbacks per day. 36 million playbacks. And guess what? When people read about something in the newspaper or watch something on TV, they actually go on Google, on the internet, and they want to check whether it's right or not. Somebody mentioned that it's actually a good tool for politicians because it has infinite memory. And politicians tend to lie. And when you lie once, you're caught forever. Only once. All you have to do is just lie once. Somebody might have a mobile camera, a mobile phone with a camera, and he listens to you, he uploads it, and the whole world knows about it. So this is a very, very interesting world. It's a world of politics and Kit Kat. Politics and Kit Kat are the same. People actually want to brand themselves. Rotary or Lions, they actually want to brand themselves. There are millions of people using new tools, and we are talking to them in different languages. We are talking to different language, using different tools, so they don't connect with us. What's great about this new world is that I don't know how to translate this. We will never miss this opportunity. We will never miss this opportunity. Because the world is innovating in an incredible way. And when I see the 17 million students in Egypt, 17 million students, 2 million in the universities, I actually feel extremely proud that these guys are so thirsty for knowledge. All they have to do, and I think I agree with Zaid, all they have to do, all they want from us is actually listen to them. They don't want more money. They don't want our money, they just want our effort. They want us to actually connect with them. We created a business plan competition for Egypt called Ibda with Google, Start with Google, on the 26th of September 2011. And we finished the business plan competition 2 days ago where we actually gave one company $200,000. But that's nothing compared to the kind of money that we can give. But what's beautiful about the competition is that we had a bus that went over 20 different governorates, and I personally met 12,100 students. 12,100 ships from Aswan, Luxor, Sharm el-Sheikh, everywhere. We actually filtered them to 4,000 and then to 200. We trained 200. We couldn't train 4,000. We trained 200, and then we actually took them to 50. And then we mentored the 50 for 3 months, and we took them down to 20. And 2 days ago, we gave a check for $200,000 to a winner of a businessman competition. And we're just scratching the surface. Scratching the surface. I'm extremely optimistic because I look at these young people and I see incredible hope and incredible thirst for knowledge. And the reason that we're all excited in Google is that we have incredible young people with us in the office. We had one last example before I finish. We had one competition called the YouTube Space Labs. A space lab is actually when you're 17, you close your eyes and you imagine what would you do if you go to the moon? What scientific experiment would you do? And people from all over the world applied for the YouTube Space Labs. And the winner was an Egyptian guy called Amr Muhammad, who's 17 years old. And guess what? Our team, our marketing team, are going to send him on the moon. We want him to go to the moon. We want his experiment to go to the moon because he dreamt. He actually talked about jumping spiders on the